So now that Helldivers has been out for a week or so, a lot of people have grinded up the different weapons and the stratagems, and you may be wondering which ones are the best. And today we'll be going through the different weapons and stratagems, and I'll give you my opinions on what I think you should be using. So starting off with our primary weapons, I'd say that the basic assault rifle is actually pretty strong. It's not a bad starting point, but it's definitely not the best gun. The Liberator explosive is like pretty meh. I wouldn't use it. Same with the R63 Diligence, not really good. The MP98 Knights, okay, but again, I would probably use this over it. The SMG 37 Defender is actually really good. It does 70 damage, which is a lot. Its capacity is at 45 and its fire rate is 520. All pretty good stats. So a very decent gun, and it's very strong because if you're doing a mission, say for like an ICBM where you need to carry launch codes or something like that where you need to carry something, it can be really strong since you can fire it with one hand. Its only downside, again, is really the low fire rate. This shotgun, while good when you start out, it sucks later on because you get the SG 220 or 225 breaker, which is a fully automatic instead of a pump shotgun. So this fully automatic shotgun is the best weapon in the game, pretty much by a long shot. Even like I haven't unlocked every single weapon, but I have used all of them just from other people dropping them, and this is the best gun in the game. It does more damage per shot. It's fully automatic. It's a fully automatic shotgun. Nothing really even comes close. There are other types of this, like this is the SG 225 breaker incendiary, so it fires shots that are on fire, but as you can see, it does like a little bit more than half of the damage, and while it does have more capacity, it has a larger spread as well, which isn't really shown anywhere. It's just not as good. It's decent, but again, the SG 225 breaker is better. This gun also isn't fully automatic. So moving on to the JAR 5 Dominator, it's like fine, it's explosive, but it really just doesn't feel that good to use, and it technically says medium armor penetration, but it just doesn't feel that good to use against enemies. It only has 15 capacity and its damage is only 200, whereas this has 16 capacity and it does 330 damage, so this is way more damage. And even with the medium armor penetrating, at this point, if you're grinding, you'll have like the railgun or something to deal with the heavily armored units. The Las 5 Scythe is like fine. It's not bad, but again, it's just not as good as the SG 225 breaker. So unlock this shotgun. The place you get that shotgun is if you go into here and we go to the front, you got to unlock the first page. The second page is where you get the SMG 37 Defender, and then on the third page you get the SG 225 breaker, which really isn't that far, and it's the best gun in the game. So moving on to our pistols, there aren't actually many pistols. This comes from the Steeled Veterans, and this comes from just our, this is from, again, I think it's literally like, yeah, there it is right there. You're going to want this pistol. It's fully automatic. It actually does pretty good damage, and you can take down some, like the Broodmothers on the Terminids, they get absolutely melted with this thing. It has a really, really high fire rate and does actually a lot of damage. So I would use that pistol. These are pretty much trash compared to it. Finally, on the grenades, the only thing I would say is that the G16 Impact does not close like hive. No, it does. It closes hive holes, but it doesn't close the automaton factories. So if you're doing automatons, I would actually run with the G6 or the G12 high explosive. I'd say the G12 is better if you're using it like a lot against enemy, but if you're just trying to close stuff, use the C6 frag. But yeah, the impact's really good against like the Terminids, but against the automatons, you can't close their factories, but you can close the hives with it. I don't know if that's a glitch or whatever, and they need to fix that. I actually haven't used the G10 Incendiary very much, but from what I can tell, it's just not as good. It doesn't do a lot of damage, stuff like that. And these have greater penetration as well. So those are our different weapons and primaries and secondaries and all that. Nothing else to say there. If we take a look at the weapons that we didn't cover, the Liberator, from what I've heard, isn't really good. The same with the Sniper. It only pierces light armor, which they definitely need to change. And then we got the Slugger, which it's not fully automatic, so pretty mid. We got the Breaker Spray and Pay. I have used this from one of my friends, and it basically does no damage. You get more shots with it, like 32, but it's just worse than the fully automatic one. It's just not as good, and this one's like fine, but it only penetrates light armor. So those are all of the weapons. Let's move over to our stratagems, and picking your stratagems really depends on what you're trying to do, but I'd say for like once you have everything unlocked, I'd go for the railgun. It's the best, support weapon in the game by far. I'd say the autocannon's a close second, especially if you're trying to like close a bunch of hive structures, stuff like that. But yeah, I'll get either the autocannon or the railgun for those. And then moving on down to our orbitals, the orbital laser's really, really strong. Really, really, really strong. Highly suggest using the orbital laser. The orbital rail cannon strike is also pretty decent, but the orbital laser, when you're getting overrun, it'll just absolutely wipe through everything. If you're seriously getting overrun and you have like 3 of these, it'll kill Bile Titans, Bile Titans. I'd highly suggest trying this laser out, and it's really, really strong. The walking barrage is like fine, it's not very good, and everything else is pretty mid, especially this one. We had the daily to get the 50 kills with this. I didn't do it. This one sucks. But orbital laser really, really strong. For the eagle, actually the cluster bomb is really strong because you get 4 uses and there's only a 15-second, well, usually there's a 15-second cooldown. I actually have the ship module upgrade. If you take a look over here, we have our hangar upgrades. I got the reduced eagle, the eagle stratagem cooldown time is reduced by 50%. So that makes the cooldown 8 seconds on the cluster bomb, so you can have these coming out really quickly. Very strong. Eagle airstrike also is really good at like closing hive nests and stuff like that. Napalm honestly feels pretty much useless. The jump pack really strong if you're trying to do like stealth missions or move around the map pretty fast. Rocket pods honestly feel pretty useless. 500 kilogram bomb is wonderful. Usually like a standard loadout for me would be the 500 kilogram bomb, the orbital laser, the railgun, and then like a turret of my choice. We'll get to turrets in a bit, but then we have the orbital precision strike, which is like, that's the one you start with. The gas strike I don't use ever. Same with the EMS strike, and smoke strike pretty much useless as well. Some people swear by this. It's not portable. I don't like it that much. And you can't shoot well on it, obviously. This is pretty mid as well. You shouldn't be being shot, and is only useful against the automatons. Tesla Tower has a really ridiculously low range. Then everything in here, supply pack's really good when you're starting out, but it's sort of a waste of a slot later on. Grenade launcher, really strong actually. You can run the grenade, if you're solo, you could run like grenade launcher with supply pack and just wipe the map with it. I've taken out entire Bile Titans with the grenade launcher. It does a lot of damage and it shoots at a very high rate of fire. So I actually really like the grenade launcher. Laser cannon, trash. I don't use it. The rover is pretty good. However, I've been killed multiple times using it by the rover. So it team kills pretty hard. And then finally on our sentries, I'd highly suggest using the rocket sentry, the autocannon sentry, and the mortar sentry. Mortar one is going to kill your teammates, but still pretty strong. So anyways, those are the best stratagems and the best weapons I'd suggest using. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I have a bunch of links below if you want to connect with me. My Discord's there, so you can like connect. I play with my viewers all the time. I pretty much run a lobby every single night. I won't be over the weekend because I'll be traveling, but if you ever want to hit me up, feel free. I respond pretty much to everything. And yeah, so I really appreciate y'all. There are other links to support me. Feel free to subscribe if you like my content. I really appreciate all the support. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Have fun over the weekend with the 1.5 XP buff, and thanks for watching, y'all.